Hey, what's going on everyone? Greg here, and Google actually went ahead and sent me a Pixelbook Go to review, and I've been using it for about the past month now. Now, my plans to review this as kind of like an exclusive of just using a Pixelbook Go kind of didn't go as planned. That's because Apple released the 16-inch MacBook Pro, and of course I had to cover that for the channel. Now, with that being said, I have been using the Pixelbook Go a lot, and I have some perspective I want to bring you as traditionally a Mac user. Now listen, before we get into this review, I am well aware that I am not the target audience for a Chromebook laptop. With that being said though, I have traditionally been a fan of what the Chromebook is aiming to do. Because in the past, I have recommended that people buy Chromebooks, especially if all they're doing on a laptop is browsing the web. In fact, one year for Christmas, I actually bought my mom a Chromebook and she was pretty much fine doing almost everything on it. However, this Chromebook is a little different from those budget machines because this one I'm reviewing is a Core i5 128GB variant of the Pixelbook Go, which retails for $850. So for $850, who is this Chromebook really for, and should you even consider purchasing it? Now, at first glance, when I first saw the Pixelbook Go, I thought it was made of plastic, but it's actually made of magnesium, which Google painted over to give it a overall softer feel. It's a very nice combination and gives the Pixelbook Go a more premium feel compared to other Chromebook alternatives. The overall profile of the laptop is relatively thin and comes with a headphone jack and two USB-C ports on either side of the computer, which can be used for plugging in accessories or charging on either side of the device. And on both sides of the laptop, you will find a charging indicator, which is a really nice touch. These USB-C ports also support fast charging, but granted it's not really something I had to use because of the excellent battery life of the Pixelbook Go, which lasts around 10 to 12 hours in my usage. That meant that I could carry this laptop around for a day or two and not have to worry about bringing my charging brick with me. Which is great because the Pixelbook Go is also a lightweight device, weighing just 2.3 pounds. Meaning that you're very likely to be throwing this in your bag and taking it out with you to your favorite coffee shop. And when you are picking that laptop up, the Pixelbook Go also features another interesting design decision, this soft touch rib material at the bottom of the laptop. And even as I sit here today, 1 month later after using the Pixelbook Go, this is a design choice that I'm not really sure how to feel about, because I don't find it to be a visually appealing design choice. But it does feel nice to carry around, and especially in the colder temperatures, you aren't grabbing or putting a cold hard metal surface on your lap. And the bottom also never really got hot during my test despite not having a fan, which makes it a virtually silent machine. So as a lightweight laptop that you're carrying around with you all day, you can definitely expect the Pixelbook Go to fill that role. It is very lightweight, it is very thin, and again, it has an excellent battery life, but there's more to this device. Now, the display is a 13.3-inch panel with a 16:9 aspect ratio. The bezels look fairly similar to something like the 13-inch MacBook Pro and MacBook Air. This model comes with a 1920 by 1080p display, which gives it a pixel density of 163 pixels per inch, which was a little lower in resolution than I am used to, and overall made the text not that sharp. The display also looked a little washed out at times while watching content on Netflix, especially with the brightness turned up. Overall, I was able to use the laptop outside and see the screen comfortably, but I am personally not a fan of the 16:9 aspect ratio on laptops, which feel vertically cramped compared to something like the 16:10 aspect ratio. The panel itself is also a touchscreen panel, and while this worked perfectly fine for scrolling and pinching to zoom, I also found parts of Chrome OS just simply unoptimized for touchscreens, like tapping the smaller UI elements in the Chrome browser. Speakers are also pretty respectable on this laptop given its size and got plenty loud, although since my time of reviewing this, I have been spoiled by the new 16-inch MacBook Pro speakers, which almost make any other previous laptop speakers seem bad in comparison. Granted, that's not really a fair comparison, and these speakers sound a lot more like something like the 13-inch MacBook Pro. Between those two speakers, you'll find the Pixelbook Go's keyboard, which Google claims to have worked on to make these keys super quiet. I'm not so sure about the overall quietness of these keys, which didn't seem that quiet or loud to me one way or the other. However, the keys themselves are fantastic. They do not feel mushy when typing on them and offer great tactile responsiveness. I could type on this laptop all day easily, and it is by far one of the best things about this laptop. The Pixelbook Go definitely has a standout keyboard. Now, I wish I could say the same for the trackpad, which was decent enough for scrolling between content and web pages and big enough to comfortably use gestures, but it offered too much resistance when clicking, especially towards the mid and upper sections. It just felt a little too rigid and way too loud. A big omission from this laptop is the lack of any biometric security, so no fingerprint scanner or no facial unlocking system, so you're going to have to type in your password. Credit where credit is due though, because the Pixelbook Go does offer a 1080p webcam, which is better than the 720p webcam that is still included on the $2,400 16-inch MacBook Pro. Now, like I mentioned at the start of this review, I am using the Core i5 version of the Pixelbook Go with 8 GB of RAM. And while you might not necessarily be getting a Chromebook for cutting-edge performance, Chrome OS on this version of the laptop ran excellent. I had no problems having lots of Chrome tabs open at once, watching video, or listening to music all at the same time. And I never felt any slowdowns or never felt like the interface was stuttering or sluggish in any way. There's also some nice software integration here, with Chrome OS being able to hook up my Pixel 4 XL, which means that any SMS message I received on my phone would also be received by my laptop. A very similar approach to how Apple handles iMessage between the iPhone and the Mac. I was also able to open the plethora of Android apps available for Chrome OS. I would say not to worry about performance on this laptop for what you would expect a Chromebook to do. Let's get back to those Android apps though. Just because you can run Android apps on a Chromebook doesn't necessarily mean you should run them. That's because those Android apps are often disappointing and offer a poorly optimized experience for a 13.3-inch laptop display. And the web version of these apps usually provide a much better experience than the Android equivalent, so why would you want to ever use them? For example, let's take the Twitter Android app. Look how poorly optimized it is to take advantage of the additional display space on the Pixelbook Go compared to the web version. And other apps like Instagram bizarrely take up the entire display and give you a tiny phone-sized view of your feed. Also, while you might expect to play a few Android-compatible games on this Chromebook, some of them don't even open, and if they do, playing Mario Kart Go in portrait mode is a poor experience to say the least. Don't get me wrong, there's some exceptions here. I found that apps like Lightroom offered a better optimized experience, but an app like that is the exception, not the rule. And while I was happy enough using Lightroom on the Chromebook to edit my photos, I wasn't happy with any of the third-party video editing apps I found on the Google Play Store. It's really disappointing to see the vast library of Android apps, which should by all means be a strength of Chrome OS, just turn out to be poorly optimized copy and pasted versions of the phone app with no real thought or effort put into them. Which kind of brings me to my conclusion. After spending about a month with the Pixelbook Go, I'm really still trying to figure out who exactly this laptop is for. It's certainly not for me, someone who needs access to more comprehensive full-featured apps to get their work done. Granted, I know not every product is targeted at someone like me, and some people just need a light laptop to browse the web or type up a paper in Google Docs, and with battery life that lasts them all day, and this Pixelbook Go is certainly excellent at that. However, for the price of $850 for this model, you would really need to love how Chrome OS operates and ignore the plethora of competing Chromebook models out there with more competitive pricing. You would also have to ignore products like the MacBook Air and Microsoft Surface laptops, which for around $200 more, you are getting a laptop that is much more capable than the Pixelbook Go. I also look at something like Apple's $329 iPad, which offers a way better software experience with its fantastic library of iPad apps, which at least to me makes it a much more capable device, and even with the additional smart keyboard and Apple Pencil accessories a cheaper device. Now, unfortunately, Google did not send me the cheaper $650 variant of the Pixelbook Go to review, and that comes with a weaker Core M3 processor and 64 gigabytes of storage. And if that Core M3 variant runs just as smooth or almost as smooth as the Chromebook that I've been reviewing, for $650, this laptop starts to make a lot more sense. So if I was in the market for a Pixelbook Go, I think I would definitely check out that Core M3 $650 version, and if it runs smooth, if it runs fine, that laptop becomes a much stronger recommendation in my eyes. Alright everyone, hopefully this video helped you out. If it did, make sure you leave me a like. If you want to see more from my channel, make sure you're subscribed. As always, if you want to support the channel out in any way, make sure you check out some of the links in the description. I'll have an affiliate link to purchase the Pixelbook Go. Also, be sure to let me know what you think of the Pixelbook Go in the comments below. Do you agree with my take that the $850 version is a little too much money for what you're getting? And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.